to Sports Machine with Brian and Dean. December 11th, recording in Dallas, Texas. Great show coming up. Manny Pacquiao delaying his decision after all the talk about how he's going to decide on this day. Decide he's going to delay his decision. Some confusion there. NBA injury update, NBA power rankings. Of course, somebody's getting really low. The NFL pick 6. All on. Let's get started on Thursday Night Football. It looked like the Vikings were giving the Cardinals a run for their money for a while. But turnovers, they'll kill you in the NFL. 3 turnovers by the Vikings, and that's what cost them the game. Because really, they were evenly matched on both sides of the ball. Teddy Bridgewater had a good game besides that last fumble caused by Dwight Freeney that pretty much clinched the game for the Cardinals. Adrian Peterson out there talking about coaches fumbling the ball and averaging 3 yards a carry. Just thought I'd point that out there.
Man, how about Dwight Freeney, man? He was considered retired a long time ago.
I thought he was retired. I forgot he was playing.
35-year-old, 14 NFL season comes out. And let him know y'all must have forgot. Like Roy Jones. Y'all must have forgot. Nah, but he didn't forget. Went out there and made the play of the game.
Who would have thought that the Cardinals were the team with better ball security?
Man. You know, once again, I think I think the teams are starting to catch on to like what Minnesota's doing. When I look at the fact that, except for Adrian Peterson's averaging on like 3 yards a carry. So it's like, and then when I look at the fact that Teddy Bridgewater doesn't throw the ball, like they haven't really give him the leeway to throw the ball down the field this often. You know, nothing past 10 or 15 yards. Most of this it's kind of dink and dunks, a few screens and things like that. So it's almost no different from how they was doing Leonard Fournette in college. Okay, if you guys not gonna pass the ball deep down the field, take advantage of eight men in the box. Hey, we'll stuff your run game. We'll take out one of your best players and let y'all figure it out from there.
To me, that's where it's interesting because Teddy Bridgewater played well tonight.
For the one mistake.
And, I mean, you could say it was a mistake.
Mistake or a great play.
Exactly.
Mistake by him, great play by Dwight Freeney.
It's hard just to put that all on Teddy Bridgewater. A lot goes into a strip sack.
Right.
And then just because it's at the end of the game doesn't make it any better than all the other fumbles that happened throughout the game. Carson Palmer, I think I heard he broke the season touchdown record for the Cardinals franchise.
Right.
Tonight, passing Kurt Warner. Looked like he doesn't need to do anything over there. Since you're worried about his knees. Cardinals clinched the spot in the playoffs already. Does this pretty much clinch a bye for them, you think?
When we look at their schedule, who do you see? Who else on their schedule that could potentially beat this team? Let's have a look real quick. Let's see.
Packers and the Seahawks can both beat them. I mean, the Eagles probably can too, but I'm less worried about the Eagles than the Packers and Seahawks.
And let's see, they have the Packers at home, and the Packers is not a good road team. So I could see them beating the Packers at home. And a division matchup, once again, with the Seahawks, that's kind of, it's a coin flip, you know. Division opponents, they're used to playing each other, seeing each other 2 times in a year. So
They just have to win one more game to get the bye, I
So-
believe. Yeah, they only need one more game.
Right. So I believe, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say yes. They do go ahead and clinch the second spot, barring Carolina just go on the next 3-4 games. They just go on a losing streak and fall from number one seed to number 3 seed or something like that. But I don't see that happening
Yeah,
either.
I mean, you look at Carolina's schedule. They have Atlanta, New York, Atlanta again, and Tampa Bay. And they would have to lose at least 2 of those.
Right. And the both of the games that is worrisome is the fact that they play Atlanta twice this month, right?
Yeah.
Including this coming Sunday. And then they play Tampa Bay again. And once again, in division games you can throw out records and what this defense is ranked, because no one expected the Saints coming out giving them that run for their money like they did last Sunday.
The Panthers have kind of created this, not their fault, but they have a target on their back now.
Right.
They're the only undefeated team.
Right.
They're going to get every team's best, as you like to put it.
And the head-to-head matchup, who would you go with? Arizona or Carolina right now?
Barely Carolina.
Yeah.
Barely, though. I think Arizona's defense is almost right there.
Mm-hmm.
And if they had CJ2K, then I might actually give it to Arizona, even though David Johnson played well today.
Right.
I mean, did what he's supposed to do.
19 carries for 92 yards. He was averaging 4 yards a carry.
I mean, he did everything he was supposed to do.
Right.
It looks like he's taking that spot.
Mm-hmm.
He is the starting. On the other side, let's go to the Minnesota side. They're now 8-5, kind of been on a slide lately.
Like they're going to be stuck in a wild card spot, barring anything, depending on what happens with Green Bay in the division.
Minnesota has the Bears, Giants, and Packers left
Uh-huh.
in Green Bay.
And we all know Green Bay can be they're pretty good at home. As of late, anyway.
And you look, there's no way they're falling out of the playoffs, I don't think.
No.
Even with this slide, 8-5, you would need Tampa Bay to go undefeated or Atlanta to go undefeated, almost, in order for them to catch the Minnesota.
And both of those teams play Atlanta again. Both of those teams, Atlanta and Tampa Bay, play Carolina again this month.
Atlanta does it twice.
Exactly, and Atlanta has actually been on a slump. Compared, like everybody's wondering where is this team at? Where was this? Where's the September Falcons?
It's looking real treacherous for them right now.
Right.
Do you like the fact that the Vikings are stumbling going into the playoffs?
It's not good. You usually want to be. If you're Minnesota, you kind of want to be in a position that Seattle's in.
Well, you don't want Seattle. Like, if Seattle passes Minnesota for the 5 spot, because they're fighting for the 5 spot, you want to play Washington or New York,
Right.
Philadelphia.
Right.
You don't want to play Green Bay.
No, you really don't. Not
when the other option is the NFC East.
Right. A team looking like you can go on the road and beat the NFC East opponent. When you look at the Giants, they don't know how to finish games. Philly, you just don't. With Philly, where do you start at with that team? And as far as Washington goes, like, they have it. They can run the ball, and then it's like they tend to give games away the same way New York would give a game away. And I'm not trying to put Dallas in the mix because of the fact that, right, I'm not, because I don't want to, everybody's hanging their head on it, so I don't want to see it. But once again, I'm just going to stick with those 3 teams, because Cowboys play Green Bay this week, which in Green Bay, and a game that actually looked good on the schedule is not going to look as good because they're missing their star quarterback. But if get back to my point, if you're Minnesota, you actually want to be where Seattle is. When what I mean by that is Seattle's looking like they're playing some of their best football right now in December, heading into the playoffs. So you wanna be on the incline, not on the decline, heading into the playoffs. You want that momentum going into the playoffs.
I agree 100%. Coming up later in the show, we will get into our pick six, which we have the Falcons Panthers on that list. So you want to stick around where we give our picks on that. Also, up next, Manny Pacquiao backing out of his decision making right here on the Sports Machine. Back to the Sports Machine. It's Brian Franklin. Today's Sports Machine Sports Ticker. Last night, Thursday night football matchup in the NFL. The Arizona Cardinals got a 23-20 victory over the Minnesota Vikings, taking advantage of Minnesota's 3 turnovers. In the NBA, Brooklyn beat the Philadelphia team 100-91. The Bulls got a 3-point victory over the Clippers 83-80. The Thunder got a blowout win over the Atlanta Hawks 107-94. And the Knicks lost a close game to the Sacramento Kings 97-99. In college basketball, Iowa State Cyclones came back from a 20-point deficit to beat the Iowa Hawkeyes 83-82. This is Brian Franklin on the Sports Machine. Just went over the Thursday night football recap in which the Arizona Cardinals did beat the Minnesota Vikings 23-20. Let's get into some boxing.
Even Philadelphia gets a backhanded slap in the sports ticker. Like a backhand pimp slap. The Philadelphia team. It's almost like, who's that? The referee, Mike Carey, who says when he was coaching, real quick, when he was not coaching, but when he was refereeing the game, and if it was a penalty or something on Philadelphia, he would just call them Washington. He wouldn't say the Redskins or something like. Brian says no, they would not be called the 76, the Philadelphia team. It's just backhand.
At least I just say tanks, like as a professional.
True story.
On the ticker. Never right there was off the top of the dome. Getting into boxing. Big boxing fans on the show. And Manny Pacquiao, a lot of talk leading up to like yesterday.
Courtesy of Bob Arum.
Says, hey, we're going to make a decision on the fight on this date on, was it supposed to be on True TV or something? They were supposed to put this on TV.
Because they have, Top Rank has a boxing match going on True TV this Friday. And in the middle of one of the fights, like after one fight, it was going to be another fight. So in between the fights, I guess you could say, they was going to announce who Manny Pacquiao's opponent was going to be. No doubt to bring in ratings for True TV. And, just to kind of, just trying to sell tickets, you know what I'm saying? Get viewers to watch the fight, and then, get viewers for True TV. Not to mention, Manny Pacquiao, regardless of what's been going on with whether it's injury, whether it's losses, guy still has a resume, a very impressive resume.
A lot of people, besides this show,
right,
where we objectively look at Manny Pacquiao, everyone else has him as still as a pound for pound top 10.
Which we don't.
I don't.
No, without question. It's like,
the 3 people in line to fight him, supposedly, that they're talking to, the leading candidates to fight Manny Pacquiao, is Timothy Bradley, which I have over him.
Right.
Terrence Crawford, who I definitely have over him.
Right.
And Amir Khan, which everyone knows I'm a huge fan of.
Right.
Which is close to me. Like, to me, that would be the best fight to watch, Manny Pacquiao versus Amir Khan, because I think it'd be the closest, because on the real,
former stable mates.
I think Bradley and Crawford probably give Pacquiao the business.
Right. And Bradley's looked impressive these last couple of fights. And he looked really impressive against Brandon Rios. Now, granted, Brandon Rios didn't look like the Brandon Rios of old, but you're supposed to go in there and you're supposed to take a guy like that out. And he went in and he knocked Brandon. And Timothy Bradley's not known for his punching power, but he went out there and he knocked the guy out with the body shot.
Not a knockout artist.
Exactly. So he went out there and he was impressive in what he was supposed to do. Once again, I would like to see Timothy Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao again, due to the fact that regardless of how everybody felt about the first decision, it was still a win for Timothy Bradley. The second fight was a win for Manny Pacquiao. So it's like Manny Pacquiao's had numerous fights with one Manuel Marquez. So why not a third one with Timothy Bradley to go ahead and settle that low score?
Well, to me, the controversy in the first one, all right, you want to give Pacquiao that one. But the second one, I thought Bradley won.
Right, I did too.
I didn't think it was even really close. And I saw the score, I was like, well, the judges just felt bad for the first
Poetic
fight.
justice. Poetic justice, yeah.
So to me, you just switch those decisions.
Exactly.
Still be 1-1.
Right.
I think the third fight would be.
It would be the tiebreaker to go ahead and say, hey, okay, let's finish this out.
Although I would want strict judging on that. Mm-hmm. I would want to look at the judges
Right.
who's judging that fight, because I still feel like Pacquiao might get it on some erroneous.
But then if you're Manny
Beliefs.
Pacquiao and you kind of decide not to take that fight, I understand, because in his mind, if he feel like he won both fights, then okay, that's fine. But when we look at your boy Amir Khan, once again, some of the fastest hands in boxing, great talent, great speed, his footwork is great. You know, he's a former stablemate who's actually watched Manny Pacquiao in training, has trained with Manny Pacquiao, has sparred with Manny Pacquiao. I think that would be a very intriguing fight as well, when you look at just those things alone. And then you look at the fact that, okay, Amir Khan used to fight out of Wild Card Gym, but he's changed trainers, and the new trainers actually improved his boxing skills, helped him hone them a lot more than what he was doing with Freddie Roach. It's not a knock on Freddie Roach, but he's actually helped Amir Khan protect himself a lot better, because that's one of the knocks on Amir Khan is the fact that, hey, he's not exactly, he can't take a good punch. And we all know Manny Pacquiao can deliver a good punch, or good punch is.
Exactly.
So, once again, in this fight right here, and if that fight right there was to happen, I think that wouldn't be a bad. I would order that fight on pay-per-view, because I would want to see who could get knocked out. Because, of course, a couple of years ago, Manny Pacquiao was knocked out, had a vicious knockdown. He was knocked out pretty bad.
Pretty bad. It's understatement. Pretty bad is understatement.
He was blowed up. He was destroyed. He got knocked out pretty bad. And like we said before, with Manny Pacquiao, with Amir Khan, he could be knocked out as well. So it'd be all about who can knock who out first.
Well, when it comes to making that fight happen, from what I've read, Amir Khan is associated with Al Heyman, and apparently Arum has a problem with Heyman. They hate each other or something.
Yeah.
So they don't think they'll sign a deal for that.
And see, that's the only thing that I don't like about boxing right now is everybody, these factions. You know, I want my fighters to fight with these promoters. That's basically what it's called. It's called. These promoters are basically, rigging up boxing in a way.
Yeah.
When you look at, traveling off topic a bit here, Keith Thurman is a Al Heyman fighter. Sean Porter is not. So it's like Thurman hasn't signed the paperwork to go ahead and make the fight happen with those two yet. That's basically the knock on some of Heyman's fighters, is that they cherry pick their fights, and they fight lesser competition to build up the records and keep their undefeated streaks going. And it's not good for the sport of boxing when guys is doing things like that. You consider yourself one of the best, go out there and beat the best. Some of the best fighters out there have losses on their resume, except for Floyd Mayweather. But even with some of those guys like Leonard Hagler, Hearns, even Mike Tyson, man, even Muhammad Ali, they had losses on their record. It didn't diminish what they did over their career. So I think a lot of guys have become really afraid to lose that O, but that O doesn't mean anything if you don't go out there and fight the best. If all you done is fought below average opponents, mediocre guys.
Just real quick,
Uh-huh.
because we've talked in depth about the other two fights that could happen.
Uh-huh.
If Manny Pacquiao steps in the ring with Terrence Crawford,
Man, he get beat down. Like, I want to see that fight because I actually found somebody crazy enough to bet me a. I found somebody crazy enough to actually decide they want to put some dough on Manny Pacquiao and Terrence Crawford. Me going for Terrence Crawford and him going for Manny Pacquiao. And I found somebody who was I won't call who had the, I guess they could say, the testicular fortitude to actually go ahead and shake hands on that bet. So I want the fight to happen. I want the fight to happen, but I don't think that would be a good fight for Manny Pacquiao on his last fight.
I do. I mean, might as well go to sleep.
Like the song, like the Ludacris song, "Go to Sleep."
Yeah, just go to sleep. You'll be all right. You can sleep through it.
Terrence Crawford is a young, hungry bull, man.
You'll wake up and be retired.
Man, you know your career is officially over. What happened? Sir, you got knocked out. But I was just, you was just laying down, sleep. It's okay. You'll be a good congressman.
Not after that. Philippines be done.
Not to mention, Terrence Crawford is a pretty mean dude. He's a mean little guy. He ain't going. Terrence Crawford is going. He would go out. He would go into that ring on his first pay-per-view night, very first pay-per-view match, with cruel intentions of ending Manny Pacquiao, not to survive, but he wants to end Manny Pacquiao. You don't find too many mean guys like Terrence Crawford out there no more. Maybe Gennady Golovkin, from a mean standpoint, like he wants to fight with you, but he really wanted to just destroy you. He wants to embarrass you. Terrence Crawford wants to embarrass people.
I would enjoy seeing that.
Floyd Mayweather liked embarrassing people, but he just like doing it out of show. Like he was just showboating. Look, watch this. Watch my footwork. I'm gonna weave everything you got. Bow, pop shot you. You still can't hit me with anything. Terrence Crawford, he ain't afraid to even brawl. He'll brawl with you. Just take your shot, then deliver something else.
To make you look silly.
Exactly, man. Terrence Crawford is. And when he moves up to 147, it's such a heavy division of top, like you said, top fighters. When you look at, just spout a couple of guys off the top of the head. Errol Spence Jr., who's coming up right now at 147. You look at, we said Timothy Bradley, who I think is top 3 off in that division.
Yeah.
Once again, you got Danny Garcia move up, who's still undefeated, who's another Al Haymon guy who hasn't fought in the best competition, but he's in 147 where he has no choice now. And yeah, but out of those 3 opponents, I think Manny Pacquiao's best bet would be to fight Timothy Bradley, Desert Storm.
I think that would probably be the best one, pay-per-view wise.
Right.
Chances of winning wise.
Right.
And plus it'd be the best one to go out on at the end of your career.
Right.
Coming up, we're moving to the NBA. Right on the sports machine, went over the Thursday night football game, which the Cardinals took out the Vikings 23-20, and Manny Pacquiao delaying his decision on who he's going to fight. Moving to the NBA, some key injuries have occurred. I believe probably need to be talked about, in key returns, which is more actually what I'm interested in.
Mm-hmm.
First off, we'll start with Klay Thompson. Does not look like it's that serious. Says he's 70%. Not sure when he's going to play next. Maybe anywhere from the next game to a week, 2 weeks. I mean, if you're the Warriors, I mean, you're 23-0. You really want to rush him back?
No. Once again, I think we both agreed a couple of days ago when we heard about that injury. We even discussed it, not to say we jinxed the guy, but we said barring any major injury from key guys on that team, this team, I felt like, could still go undefeated into next year. Klay Thompson hasn't exactly been playing some of his best basketball as of late. So
The game
I don't
got,
think they're losing much.
the game he got injured on, he was playing.
Yeah, he was having a solid game that game, but prior to that, he wasn't playing. He wasn't looking like I guess like some of Klay Thompson from last year, where it's like just Splash Brothers Central. It's like who you want pick your poison today. Who you want Klay Thompson to kill you, or you want Steph to kill you?
I kind of said that about Klay Thompson a while ago, is that he's inconsistent.
Mm-hmm.
You don't really know what you're gonna get from him.
Right.
That's why before Stephen Curry became the greatest basketball player in the league,
Right.
and people were saying, "Well, I think Klay Thompson's more important. I had to slow him down." It's like Stephen Curry does this every day.
Mm-hmm.
Klay Thompson does it every other quarter. Because even in the big scoring games, Klay Thompson hits all his shots in one quarter, which is nice.
Right.
Unless you're in a close game after that and you need him to keep going.
Right. It's like, well, how about you just become a fourth quarter superstar? Then we're not doing no tripping because that's where the game gets down to the nitty gritty at anyway. You can lose game in the fourth quarter. You can win. You could be up all 3 quarters and lose a game in the fourth quarter.
The Toronto Raptors suffered an injury, and Damari Carroll is out indefinitely with a knee injury. Be interested to see how that affects them. Key player.
Yeah, most definitely key player.
The Wizards are getting demolished by injuries, it seems like.
Right.
Drew Gooden, Nene, all out until middle of December. So hopefully they come back and they get back on a roll.
Right, because I know that team was one of your top, like one of your top picks to potentially come out in the Eastern Conference or to at least give Cleveland a run for their money over there.
We were hoping.
Right.
It did not look that good. Hassan Whiteside, Amari Stoudemire in Miami, questionable for the upcoming weekend.
Mm-hmm.
The Heat cannot win without Hassan Whiteside, in my opinion. They need Hassan Whiteside.
Right, because they finally got something that they haven't had in quite some time, which was a productive big man, someone who can get down in the post, rebound. Whiteside was averaging at least 2 blocks a game, if I'm not mistaken, 2 or 3
he's up to
blocks a game.
4.
God, okay, so I apologize to you, sir. I didn't mean to cut you down by 2 blocks, man. He's averaging 4 blocks. Like, that's something you can't miss on the defensive end. Like, when you know you have a guy in the paint averaging 4 blocks a game, guys know this when they go into the paint. So he alters everybody's shot. Everybody's aware of this guy. So with Stoudemire.
Yeah, I mean, it's really rest for the weekend because he's old.
But I agree with you 100%.
I would sit Whiteside because it's an ankle injury. Just go ahead. I think too many people like to rush players back.
Ankle injuries if you're not careful with those, they can linger for the rest of the season. And you really do want this guy healthy for your playoff stretch because as of right now, this is the team that looks like they're going to give Cleveland the run for their money instead of Washington like we kind of thought.
Charlotte, the key one is Al Jefferson being out 5 games.
Most definitely.
Suspension.
Who I wish was in Dallas, but, with suspension like that, ain't going to do you no good if he ain't on the court.
It's only 5 games. He'll be back.
Right.
Boston Celtics expected to get Marcus Smart back.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not this weekend, maybe next week.
Right.
Need him back.
Most
even though
definitely.
they've been playing pretty well as of late. Isaiah Thomas has kicked it on for offense.
Right. But one thing you need with getting him back is they're getting a good defensive-minded point guard.
Exactly.
Like he's productive on the offensive end, but what you want from him is on the defense.
Now, the reason why I wanted to bring this segment into today's show is reportedly Blatt has said there is a chance that Kyrie Irving and Iman Shumpert could come back this weekend. No guarantee that they come back, but they will be on the trip, and it's possible that they will play.
Wow. You think about
earlier than expected.
Right. Kind of makes you wonder if they kind of trying to get geared up for that Christmas battle with a potentially undefeated Golden State Warriors in Oracle Arena on Christmas Day. I say this right here. They've played pretty well without those guys, and I kind of wonder what the team chemistry is going to look like when they come back.
That's my biggest worry.
Because I think that's something people tend to underrate. It's like, yo, they getting Kyrie back and Amon back. We all know what Amon can do as a wing defender. But
I think Amon coming back is actually right now would fit better
than
because Kyrie coming back, the whole offense is changing.
Right.
Amon Shumpert coming back, the offense isn't changing. You're just getting better defense.
Right. Exactly. So I just wonder. I worry about the chemistry that this team has built up without guys and what it's going to look like with them. Because that's how losing streaks start. when the chemistry becomes when you disrupt team chemistry, losing streaks happen.
I think that might be why they're doing it early though. Let's do this well before the playoffs.
Right.
So we can get it back together. Because you don't want to do it too late and now the chemistry's thrown off, you going into the playoffs.
Exactly.
Because Kyrie Irving, not necessarily known for passing the ball. Mm-hmm. Kyrie Irving is basically the shooting guard on the team.
Right.
And LeBron James is the point guard.
Pretty much. But they allow Kyrie to hold the ball in his hands a little bit more. I just kind of wonder how this is going to impact Kevin Love's game. Kevin Love is he's come back from a major injury that held him out the playoffs from the first round against Boston against the whole deal with Kelly Olynyk. He tried to he tried to injure me type of deal, the whole nine between that. But he's come back and he's actually played. He's found himself in the offense and has looked pretty well, played pretty good. But that's always been the question: what's going to happen when K comes back, Kyrie comes back?
When the person that shoots most of the shots in the game comes back, things change. Mm-hmm. It will be interesting. Coming up, where do the Cavaliers rank on our NBA power rankings? That's up next right here on the Sports Machine.
Hi, I'm Dwayne Dean, and this is your Sports Machine News Update. The drama over Dodgers and Reds reported deal to send closer Aroldis Chapman played out throughout the day Monday, but Yahoo Sports' Tim Brown and Jeff Passan reported late Monday that Chapman allegedly fired 8 gunshots in the garage of his Miami home during an argument with his wife, during which she told police the pitcher choked her, pushed her against the wall. The one-star finalized trade has now been held up. St. Louis Rams coach Jeff Fisher says wide receiver Stedman Bailey was improving from 2 gunshot wounds to the head, but wasn't sure if the 2013 third-round pick would be able to return to the NFL. Fisher said the injuries are career-threatening and is possibly done playing football. The UFC has targeted a bantamweight title match between Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey on July 9th in Las Vegas, despite a report that Holm wishes to fight sooner. UFC President Dana White told Los Angeles Times on Wednesday that it's Rousey's next for Holm. This is your Sports Machine News Update. I am Dwayne Dean. We are the Sports Machine.
Sports Machine, Brian and Dean talked about the Thursday night football. Manny Pacquiao delaying his decision, the NBA injury update. Now it's time to get the NBA power rankings, in which there's no way, right? Like, it's impossible to anyone out there not having the Warriors.
Is it possible to improve on perfection?
Number 1, right?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely.
Like, nobody out there has Warriors 2, 3. I don't care how hardcore of a fan you are to whoever you're a fan of. San Antonio, Cleveland, Oklahoma City, Indiana. Mm-hmm. No matter how good of a fan you are, you have to recognize that Golden State is number 1.
Right.
I mean, they're getting compared to Bulls, 72-10.
People are starting to ask, what would that matchup be like? Like, they're putting this team up against not only the Bulls, but they're putting this team up against Larry Bird's Celtics, Magic Johnson's Lakers, Isaiah Thomas and his Pistons of old, the Bad Boys, which I don't think that would have been a good matchup for them. Those boys were tough.
I mean, it depends on what rules we're using.
Right. Even if this rules right here, they would probably get ejected. But it's like Lambeer and they would just slaughter people, man. He'd be up in there.
Be in there for 2 minutes. The 46 minutes, it's going to be Warriors.
Full blown lariats. Just, like, God. Like,
looking like Blake Griffin out there.
Full blown John Bradshaw Layfield. I mean, he just tried to put a finishing move on the guy. Like, 2 minutes into the game.
Like, no, let him survive. He is a vertebrate. Number 2, I finally have the Spurs passing the Cavaliers.
Right.
It was barely, but I finally did put the Spurs past the Cavaliers.
I do too. And then I have the Cavaliers at 3 for me.
I think it's most people's top 3.
Right.
Ever since Kevin Durant came back, I have Thunder 4. Kevin Durant being back, and I've read a report that the ball is starting to move the last 2 games a lot more smoothly. Kevin Durant just got a triple-double.
Mm-hmm.
They say Russell Westbrook's getting in on the action with the assist. The passing is improved on Oklahoma City's side. It'll be very interesting if they can make that last all season, though.
I do have the Thunder coming in after that as well.
Number 5, I have the Indiana Pacers.
Right on. What I like about the Pacers is just, once again, I guess the debate for, the runner-up MVP.
My vote right now is Paul George.
Right.
For runner-up.
Especially when you think about the way he's come back and got himself adjusted to the game with that horrible injury that he had. It's horrible.
So he'll probably get the Comeback Player of the Year award.
Should. As of right now.
I mean, who else would you?
Because barring another injury, we can't. Bar. So
then we can't call it runner-up MVP either because Steph Curry could also.
As of right now, if the season ended today, he would be my runner-up MVP.
That should be an award right now. There should be a speech and everything for runner-up MVP.
Which one was first prize? First prize didn't it used to be like the blue ribbon? I think that would be like second prize now. Like in the NBA, here you go.
The green ribbon.
Get him something. You start giving him.
As long as you don't end with the white ribbon.
Yeah, that participation ribbon. I used to never take those ribbons home.
We don't do those.
I just throw those in the trash. I'm not taking this home. Where am I going to put it? Participation.
Trash can.
I'm finna put this on the wall. You got a lot of participation ribbons.
We're not gonna get into this discussion. I was about to ask what the point of competing was if everybody gets something. No reason to get into that.
You do not want to open up that can of worms with me. You know how I feel about this subject.
Number 6, I have the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah. I have. Yeah, most definitely.
The last 10 games are 8-2. They really turned it on as of late. Everyone knows how big of a fan I am of Kemba Walker.
Mm-hmm. I got my Mavs coming in after that.
Not to get off of it, but Kemba Walker to me is one of the clutchest players in the NBA that gets no credit.
Right.
You have your Dallas Mavericks?
Yes, I do.
In the top 10?
Yeah, I sure do. Homer right now.
That's 7 though. I was kind of expecting you to put them at 10 just for fun.
Yeah.
Just to have fun, but 7?
Yeah. I do. I
think they're better than the Bulls.
Right. I do. I really do. And they play each other the day after Christmas. So we get to come back to this today that.
I mean, there's
the
opening teams. I don't even have Dallas in my top 10. So.
You don't? That's fine.
And they probably wouldn't even be in my top 12.
That's cool.
No, they might be number 12. That's how I'm looking at it. I have the Bulls 7.
Uh-huh.
Then I have the Raptors 8.
Right.
The Raptors have slowly been falling in my rankings. I've noticed that. I've slowly just started moving the Raptors down farther.
Well, mainly because It's a consistency thing. It's a lot like Washington has just been bad compared to where you thought they were going to be, the team that they was going to be at, at this time in the season. They're just bad, but with this team right here, they're just so up and down.
If DeMar DeRozan and Kyle Lowry aren't scoring points, then they're losing.
You're right.
That's just what it comes down to. Number 9, I have the Miami Heat.
I actually have the Detroit Pistons.
Very, a lot of shocking teams in your rankings today.
What can I say? I aim to please, my man. I aim to please.
Please, with cities with the name D in it.
Hey. I like what they've done. I like the way they turned their program around. I mean, their franchise around. I call it. I like the way they turned their team around, their franchise. They haven't been much since Rip Hamilton and Chauncey Billups, Rasheed Wallace.
You Van Gundy's changed the team?
Yeah, I do. I really do think he did.
Oh,
I think Dwight Howard really do. He really misses Van Gundy as well because he hasn't played nowhere near the level he was playing when he was in Orlando with Van Gundy. Well, it was just him and the whole team was shooters.
I will say, I do like Detroit Pistons team.
Mm-hmm.
I like the way the team is set up. I don't know. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I do think they're right there. They probably would have been a playoff team 2-3 years ago in the East.
I think this team, barring injury to
Andre Drummond.
Right. I think this team right here,
18 and 16 a game.
I mean, just what else can you ask for? What else can you ask for? You want him to be a triple-double guy all the time? Now he's getting assists?
Might as well.
Right. So, barring injury, I think this team can actually go in as a number 8 and surprise some people. Because like you said, it's the East.
That's something I'm going to talk about. My 10th team is the Boston Celtics. Just
Mine is the Miami Heat.
all right.
I got the Celtics at 11.
I can accept that. I think the Celtics, once they get Marcus Smart back, it's only going to get better.
Right.
I'm looking at my power rankings. 3 Western Conference teams.
Uh-huh.
That means there's 7 Eastern Conference teams in my top 10.
Uh-huh.
So when we just said, it's the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
The team should make it.
Right.
It is no longer that way. The Eastern Conference right now is better than the Western Conference so far in the season.
Most definitely. Mainly because the teams that you thought were going to be better in the Western Conference hasn't been better. Some people put too much hope on the New Orleans Pelicans,
So
forgetting that they did change out a coach that did help them get there and kind of knew his players and knew the positions he need to have them in. And then you also look at the expectations of what everybody was expecting to get out of Houston. That's another team that's right there with Washington. Is just like, what is going on with y'all? I mean, a great head coach was fired because of their play.
that's what it seems like.
That's what it was. Like he wasn't fired because he wasn't a good coach. He was fired because of the fact that it was a knee-jerk reaction and the team just wasn't playing well. James Harden not playing defense. He'll score 48, but he'll probably allow somebody to score 50.
I don't know about that. That's a little extreme.
Man,
To point out the Eastern and Western Conference difference, the Detroit Pistons are 12 and 11. They would be out of the playoffs in the Eastern Conference.
Mm-hmm.
They would be the 7th seed in the West.
Wow.
The 8th seed in the Eastern Conference is the Atlanta Hawks at 14 and 10. They would be a 4 seed in the West.
Mm-hmm. It's like it's done flipped.
Not a total flip, but it could be that way by the end of the season if it keeps progressing in this fashion. I doubt it will. I don't think the Houston Rockets will be 11 and 12 at the end, like under 500 at the end of the season.
Right.
I don't believe that.
Do you think that team is going to make the playoffs with the coach that they have right now, with the team that they have?
Yes. They'll probably lose first round, but
Yeah, so they'll be you
They'll
have
probably
them
be-
squeaking it
Yeah,
at
they'll
a number
probably
8 and get
8-7.
swept in the first round.
If they get 7, they probably won't get. Yeah, they'll get swept.
Yes,
I don't
because
like-
then more than likely they'll be playing San Antonio. Either
Well,
San Antonio.
has a way of letting teams get a game because they like to rest people.
Okay. So either they're out of there in 4 games or they're out of there in 5 games, regardless if they make the playoffs.
Yes.
This is just one thing. This is hypothetical here. Like I said, I don't think the 1 and 2 spots is going to flip between the Warriors and the Spurs. Period. In my opinion.
I think the Warriors almost have it locked up at this point,
Yeah.
unless they go on a losing streak, which is possible.
Right.
I mean,
And once again, we said before, barring major injury to the main player, Stephen Curry.
yeah, they're gonna keep winning,
Right.
even when Klay Thompson gets hurt.
Mm-hmm.
Draymond Green might also hurt a lot more than just because of the defensive
Because
aspect.
right. And not to mention they play their greatest they play small ball with him at small ball highest level.
Yes. It's time.
Really though.
I just realized I don't really transition into really though.
You say it's time,
It's
and
time.
he starts it. Hey, it makes sense.
I think it makes sense. Things in sports just make you say, really though? Who would you like to initiate this contest?
My initiation goes out to a guy, man, who I loved his music a lot coming up. I think he helped put Southern rap on the map for a bit. When he was running things, when he was running the game, when he got the baton to run the game, he ran the game pretty well. Master P from No Limit Records.
What did Master P do?
Well, I was unaware of this, otherwise he would have gotten it a long time ago, but it's come to light, courtesy of TMZ Sports, that Master P has actually been going on an attack on first ballot Hall of Famer, 5-time NBA champion Kobe Bryant.
I don't understand.
I don't understand it either. Don't get me wrong. I know Master P could ball. Like he had his time where he played for the Hornets and he had a decent outside shot.
Decent.
Good for him. Decent as an NBA player. But he's been having a war of words with Kobe Bryant, I guess he feels like he can take Kobe Bryant from what I'm reading from the report.
In like what, a mixtape?
No, like he thinks he can outball Kobe Bryant in a one-on-one game. Like no teams, no nothing, just one-on-one. Like they used to, like a game of 20. He felt like he could take Kobe Bryant. But as of lately, that's the reason why he's getting really though. But like he's come back and actually praised him and said, hey man, despite the way he's playing this season, it doesn't change what he has done, which
Even right now, Kobe Bryant could
handle him. Like exactly, like defensively, it's like it's done. I don't think he can score on Kobe Bryant.
If Kobe Bryant tries.
Right. Because that's one thing we always said about Kobe Bryant. The difference in my opinion, between Kobe Bryant and Jordan was Kobe Bryant's defense.
Jordan was given credit for defense, even though the offensive guards back then were not very good.
Right. They wasn't the same type of guards we have today.
No.
Score first or score and assist point guards. So Kobe Bryant, like you said, for Kobe Bryant at 60%, I believe
30%.
will
I'm
give.
going to go 30%. Kobe
Will
Bryant
give-
at 30% would give the business to Master P.
How much?
Kobe Bryant with his left hand alone would beat Master P.
Oh, over under. Master P scores 5
Under.
under.
If Kobe Bryant tries.
Right.
If Kobe Bryant doesn't try, maybe Master P hits some jump shots.
Right.
Like, that lag off defense you play at the end of the game because you're
Right.
tired. Like, somebody just hit a shot so we can end this.
Right.
If he's playing that defense, then Master P might be able to score.
And that's only if they're playing, outside shots is 2 points, inside shots is 1 point. Game of 20. So yeah. So Master P, really though.
My really, though, goes out to I know I said it yesterday. If I didn't find anybody, he was getting it again. He's getting it again. LaShawn McCoy.
So you went with your 1B.
Yep. Yesterday I couldn't decide. Didn't have to decide. I just
You had a
went today.
1A and a 1B yesterday, so the B gets it today.
Definitely getting it. So after LaShawn McCoy says Chip Kelly's not his enemy, apparently he's asked by a large group of reporters in his locker room, and he goes and says, "Listen, man, Chip can't shake
Ish.
at all. Nothing. He knows this. That's why he said it. I know him. He's very intelligent. I can read between the lines. Like I said, I have nothing against him. No hatred. We're not enemies. I won't say anything wrong to him, but there's nothing for us to talk about at all. Simple as that. I came and shake your hand. If somebody can't shake your hand, then doesn't that make them an enemy?
Right. That means you have no respect for him. Like,
He goes on to say, he can't call me, he can't shake my hand, there's nothing he can do with me. He can't say to me. It's as simple as that.
the rated G version. Huh?
I don't dislike him. I don't have nothing against him. But there's nothing for us to talk about, and he knows that. He knows me. He knows how I act, not my grammar, his. There's nothing he can tell me. There's nothing he can talk about. Y'all are enemies. Just I wouldn't even care about LaShawn McCoy saying all this if he didn't end it with, "Oh, we're not enemies." What are you?
Right.
And Chip Kelly's been blown and like kind of like been cool with it. Like, oh yeah, he should be mad. It was
Right.
handled the wrong way.
Right.
And Chip Kelly being actually been cool about this.
Right.
LaShawn McCoy's not been cool. Really though, you're not enemies.
He
You
seems
called him a
more
reg-
perturbed. Like,
You call him a racist. You call somebody a racist, you were instantly enemies.
exactly.
I'm surprised you don't fight every time you see each other.
Who you got over under? Who you got, Chip Kelly or Shady?
I gotta take Shady. I wish Chip Kelly would have some hands though.
I'm with you.
This is moving straight into the pick six, by the way. 'Cause that's the first game we're going on. Bills Eagles.
Right. Oh man.
Oh, if they started fighting after the game, I would. That'd be the greatest day of my life.
So they gonna pull a Texas Baylor where somebody gets hit the wrong way or lay hitting it, the bench is clear.
I want full on Malice in the Palace. I want.
God, you want helmet throwing the whole nine, and it's funny because it's in football, like it's no different what happened in training camp with Dez Bryant. He got caught a couple of times by a few people. It's like, Dez, you know you're supposed to keep your head on the swivel.
For
You,
real.
you have no right getting stole off on when you 6'2".
You know how group battles go.
Thank you. It's like everybody's exactly. So the fact that you wasn't, yeah, you the main guy. Somebody wants to get I stole off on that fool. Hit him smack in the face. No helmet.
He'll live the rest of his life off that point.
Right.
All right. Moving to the NFL pick six. Six best games in the NFL. We pick them. First game, Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles, LaShawn McCoy going back to Philly. Who you got?
I'm taking Buffalo. In this game, I'm taking them 24-17. I don't think with everything that's been said about, DeMarco Murray this week about potentially wanting the ball more, questioning where he fits at an offense, I think that still doesn't. I still think Chip Kelly's a stubborn guy. He's going to play
Oh, yeah, Chip
whoever's playing well. I don't think Matthews is playing this week. I think he's still he's questionable or probable. But either way, I think depending on if he plays or not, the main carries will go to Darren Sproles or Matthews, depending on the situation. But I still don't think that's enough because when the right defense shows up, when the right Bills defense shows up, they look like the team that everybody expected them to be with that front four that they have. And when I look at what Tyrod Taylor can do throwing and running, I think it's just a little bit too much for that team to handle with the way they run their offense.
I agree. I also take the Buffalo Bills. But I think it will be a close game. I don't think it will be a blowout by any stretch of the imagination. Eagles will probably score all their points in the second, third quarter, as usual.
Right.
But I'll take the Bills. come away with the fourth quarter win, comeback with Tyrod Taylor. Next up, Cowboys, Packers. Dallas holding on to their playoff hopes. Will
And-
they keep them alive this week by beating the Packers?
That is the only reason why we picked this game. Not because I'm a Cowboys fan, but because of the fact that every team in the NFC East right now is in the mix, including the Cowboys, who's a game out. Going into Green Bay, I don't see any reason why Green Bay should fear Dallas. I think they fear Dallas defense more than anything, but their defense ain't gonna be enough to.
They're not fearing anything. The Green Bay Packers about to roll the Cowboys.
Aaron Rodgers better fear the defense though.
He's not fearing it.
He don't. I wouldn't fear him after the second half, like
All right,
late into
I'll
the
agree with
third
that.
quarter,
I'll agree
late
with
into the
that.
third quarter, into the fourth quarter, because Cowboys still haven't really been able to put up any points on anybody post Tony Romo.
I'll agree with that. Next up, Titans, Jets.
I'm taking the Jets,
Jets.
playing for their playoff lives.
A lot of agreement today. I'm also taking the Jets. Ryan Fitzpatrick, shout out.
Yeah, they found a way to get Brandon Marshall the ball without forcing it to him. Brandon Marshall having an impressive season, 83 catches, over 1,000 yards, 10 touchdowns.
And it's only going to go up against the Titans, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't think the Titans are ready for that.
But the Titans have had some shootouts
Shootout.
in this season with teams. But we both agree on the Jets.
Saints, Buccaneers.
Another divisional game between a team that's looking to make the playoffs, the Bucks. I'm gonna take the Bucks at home. Jameis Winston, the second half of the season.
Team, so good. I'm taking
Exactly.
the Buccaneers just because of Jameis Winston.
Yeah. And that run that he had, like, I had to tweet that out there. Like, I was looking at I was like, that run, though. Like, I know it wasn't Marcus Mariota's run, but the fact that he was wise enough not to allow his progress to be stopped. They held him. He kept fighting, got the first down. They arguably turned the game around for him on that game-winning drive.
Jameis Winston, the second half is. Everyone jumped on Marcus Mariota early in the season,
Right, with the whole 3 touchdown, 4 touchdown deal.
shutting down on Jameis Winston because of the interceptions. Jameis Winston learned from his mistakes and got better.
What you expect from a number one pick.
And Marcus Mariota
He lost his
got his
stuff.
coach.
Exactly.
Lost his coach.
And that's solid. Otherwise, the both of them is actually playing pretty well. You couldn't have went wrong with either one.
That's how it appears right now. In a few years, we'll see what's up because right now, Andrew Luck and RG3.
Ah, yeah.
Neither.
RG3, go to Kansas City.
Please let Andy Reid coach you. Steelers, Bengals.
I'm taking the Bengals in this matchup. The Bengals have a receiving core and a quarterback to expose this Steelers secondary.
Exposed.
Yes, on Facebook, on national TV. when we say that exposed, where there was this little video that came out that was on Facebook, and the guy said, "Who you know who's acting funny? Let me know so I can expose them." So that's why we said that.
I'm
way.
taking the Steelers.
You taking the Steelers?
Yeah, I just think it's about that time. It's a gut feeling. Like, I feel like the Steelers will win. I think Ben Roethlisberger can go ball out. I think the Steelers are probably going to put on a show before the end of the season.
The Bengals' one loss came at home to a team that was also playing for their playoff lives, the Houston Texans. Other than that, I still think the Bengals show up for this game. Show up for this game
I
and
think they
try
should.
to.
Like, I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I mean, Pittsburgh's no slouch. I mean, most of their losses come with injury plaguedness.
Right.
Last game, Falcons, Panthers. Do the Panthers remain undefeated?
Yes. They're at home. The Falcons is not a good. They're 500 on the way. But once again, the problem is the fact that this is a good defense. This is a doggone good defense that the Carolina Panthers have. And you're facing a quarterback who has turned the ball over, who has multiple turnovers, who leads the league in multiple turnovers. Yes. When you hear that, that's not good. He's a gift basket. Whether it's interceptions or fumbles. So I think their slide continues. Their slump continues with this team. Now, when they play them again in Atlanta, that's going to be interesting, in my opinion.
I believe that the Atlanta Falcons are going to turn around.
Say it again. Say something else. Oh, say something else. Say something else.
It's not that far-fetched if you think about what they were in
I think
September.
if they just run the ball, just get the ball out of Matt Ryan's hands. Just run the ball. Let Devontae Freeman and Coleman do their thing. Just let Matt Ryan chill, do play action pass, do safe throws, just throw it up to Julio Jones.
That's
the,
it.
the offense can be
Prolific.
lethal.
Right,
Like,
right. But only if they're able to run the ball and actually,
I mean, Carolina's defense is no joke,
right.
and the way Cam Newton's playing, the reason because I was gonna pick Atlanta, that I thought about it, it was like really hard. I'm still gonna pick Atlanta just because it was my first instinct to do it.
Right.
Because Cam Newton though makes you think twice. Because he
Right.
can go out there and throw 5 touchdowns himself.
Right. But
With-
he's been playing MVP style season right now. Like, where he's not been the turnover basket he was in the past neither.
He's not.
He's actually went Auburn Cam.
Exactly. He said, "Put the world on my shoulders. I'll run with it if I got to." Ever since he started running the ball more, the offense has been moving. Not sure if that's good for his health, but it is what it
Yeah.
is.
So far, so good.
Great show today. Coming up Monday, you already know. NFL recap. Something's bound to happen in the NBA. Do the Warriors lose to the Boston Celtics?
Some experts tend to think so.
I don't know why. I don't think so. But if they do lose, guarantee we'll talk about. We'll probably end up talking about the Warriors anyway because they'll do something crazy. Maybe Stephen Curry will hit 23s in a game. Not far fetched. See,
No.
like most people are like, what 23?
Yeah.
Stephen Curry, it's okay.
Yeah.
All this coming up next week right here on the Sports Machine.
Peace out.